Yam harmya priste kavadangrishopham Viktri datim kanduka vivalakshim Vishvavasurnya patatsvad vimanad Vilokya sammoha vimura chetaha Yam harmya priste kavanadangrishopham Vikti datim kanduka vivalakshim Vishvavasurnya patatsvad vimana Vilokya sammoha vimura chetaha Yam harmya prishte kavanadangrishopham Vikridatim kanduka vivalakshim Vishvavasurnya patatsvad vimanad Vilokya sammoha vimura chetaha Yam harmya priste kavanadangrishopham Vikridatim kanduka vivalakshim Vishvavasurnya patatsvad vimanad Vilokya sammoha vimuda chetaha. Thank you. So, Yam, whom? Harma Priste, on the roof of the palace. Kwanat Angri Shobham, whose beauty was heightened by the tinkling ornaments on her feet. Vikradatim, playing Kanduka Vivala Akshim, with eyes bewildered, following her ball. Vishvavasu, Nyapatat, fell down. Svat, from his own. Vimanat, from the airplane. Vilokya, seeing. Sammoha Vimuda Chetaha, whose mind was stupefied. So we've got the translation and the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation reads, I have heard that Vishvavasu, the great Gandharva, his mind stupefied with infatuation, fell from his airplane after seeing your daughter playing with a ball on the roof of the palace. For she was indeed beautiful, with her tinkling ankle bells and her eyes moving to and fro. So we can repeat. I have heard that Vishvavasu, the great Gandharva, his mind stupefied with infatuation, fell from his airplane after seeing your daughter playing with a ball on the roof of the palace, for she was indeed beautiful, with her tinkling ankle bells and her eyes moving to and fro. Okay, so the purport. It is understood that not only at the present moment, but in those days, there were skyscrapers. Skyscrapers are tall buildings. Herein, we find the word Harmya Priste. Harmya means a very big palatial building. Svat Vimanat means from his own airplanes. It is suggested that private airplanes or helicopters were also current in those days. So high-rise buildings and helicopters and airplanes in those days. So very much like what we have now. Obviously, they would be more highly technical than ours and probably working much better than ours, but it is suggested that it was there. So the Gandharva Vishwavasu was, while flying in the sky, could see Devahuti playing ball on the roof of the palace. And ball playing was also current at that time, but aristocratic girls would not play in a public place. Ball playing and other such pleasures were not meant for ordinary women and girls. Only princesses like Devahuti could indulge in such sports. It is described here that she was seen from the flying airplane. This indicates that the palace was very high. Actually, very true, because you can't see on top of the buildings if you're in an airplane, so it must have been a really high building. Oh, the Gandharva was flying low. This indicates the palace was very high, otherwise how could one see her from an airplane? The vision was so distinct that the Gandharva Vishwavasu was bewildered by her beauty, and by hearing the sound of her ankle bells, he could hear the ankle bangles in his viman, in his airplane, which is interesting. And being captivated by the sound and the beauty, he fell down. Kadarma Muni mentioned the incident as he had heard it. So he had heard the wonderful beauty of, Devahuti. So he knew what kind of wife he was getting. So we have to cover 18. I will go on to 18 as well, because the next speaker would have arranged a class for 19. So we'll just quickly cover 18. Tam prathayantim lalana lalamam ashevita shri chanair adrishtam vatsam manor uchapada swasharam ko nanu manyeta buddho piyatam. The translation of that reads, that what wise men would not welcome her, the very ornament of womanhood, the beloved daughter of Swayambhuva Manu and the sister of Uttanpada. Those who have not worshipped the gracious feet of the goddess of fortune cannot even perceive her, yet she has come of her own accord to seek my hand. So Kadarma Muni here is very much flattered that Devahuti, someone like Devahuti, is coming for him. Purport. Kardama Muni praised the beauty and qualification of Devahuti in different ways. Devahuti was actually the ornament of all ornamented beautiful girls. A girl becomes beautiful by putting ornaments on her body, but Devahuti was more beautiful than the ornaments. She was considered the ornament of the ornamented beautiful girls. Demigods and Gandharvas were attracted by her beauty. Kadarma Muni, although a great sage, was not a denizen of the heavenly planets. But it is mentioned in the previous verse that Vishwavasu, who came from the heaven, was also attracted by the beauty of Devahuti. Besides her personal beauty, she was the daughter of the emperor Swayambhuva and the sister of King Uttanpada. Who could refuse the hand of such a girl? Okay, so very quickly. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Well, this is a very interesting topic, a challenging one for me, because I think I'm not qualified enough to speak for this, but was fortunate enough to hear a class from Devamrita Maharaj on Saturday morning, and he had explained about the Grihastha life and householders. We have some brahmacharis here who could do with the information maybe for future purposes. But really, this is an arrangement of marriage by Kardama Muni. And the emperor, Swayambhuva Manu, has come to give his daughter's hand in marriage. This is a perfect example of actually if someone is searching for a wife or a partner, which is why it's a challenging topic for all of us. But the whole point is, since it's Vedic scriptures, and what does Vedic guidelines tell us? Kardama Muni had explained to Lord Krishna in the chapter previous to this that he was looking for a suitable wife. or a like-minded wife. And so I won't speak too much on this. I will just jump on to Gopa Ashtami, and if we have time, we'll come back to this. Now, as Devamrita Maharaj had mentioned the other day, that according to Vedic scriptures, we have to understand that we are living in Kali Yuga. And we have to know the standards of Vedic scriptures, what the requirements are, but at the same time understand this is Kali Yuga, and it doesn't apply fully, cannot be applied, because not everyone is like-minded. And the whole point, Kardama Muni, we can learn from this, is he is searching for a wife who is like-minded. In other words, you choose a wife who is compatible with you and has the same culture as you. In other words, if a karmi, I should not say karmi, it's a label, it's not nice to say that. Let's just say it's a non-devotee who's not practicing Vedic practices or bhakti, they will not fit in very well with a wife who is Vedic. And somebody who is a devotee, is practicing, has a Vedic culture, they won't be able to adjust with somebody who's a non-devotee. But then in Kali Yuga we have free will, and people fall in love. And so they choose somebody who is not in the same culture or is not practicing Vedic. So what is the solution to that? Well, we know that you can turn that person into a devotee. Now the problem is when they stop being a devotee. Like for example, you associate with somebody, you like each other, you're good together or something, whatever it is. They are not Krishna conscious, so you try to preach to them. But provided they kind of fit in, So the whole point, I don't really want to touch on this because it's a very delicate matter. People have their own views on this. But the point is that you have to have a marriage is not something that is of a play thing. It is something that is serious, and it's lifetime. It's a lifetime partner. So it has to be somebody that you can stay with for the rest of your life. And the minute, actually I've got something in my phone. I was doing some research because I thought, what should I actually say to for this particular point. It said that if say you made a mistake, or at least tried to preach to somebody and they didn't really respond well, it is said in the Vedic scriptures that it says before marrying one should select a wife of like disposition and not be enamored by her so-called beauty or other attractive features for sense gratification. So that's the conclusion. And say that they are not, say that you have made a mistake or try to preach to somebody and they didn't really fit in, well, you have to stop association immediately. Immediately. Because that will be the downfall. A drowning person cannot save a person. So if somebody is drowning, you have to teach them to swim, try to rescue them. Not responding, you have to leave because they'll pull you down. Also bhakti will come down. So your lifestyle will be compromised. So the whole point of choosing a partner is somebody who stays with you for life. Now in Kali Yuga, it doesn't happen like that. There are not very many Vedic practitioners out there. So it's challenging to find a partner like that. And so some people decide to stay single or whatever, but in that, I have an example. Srila Prabhupada's own sister was married to someone who was eating meat or something, or, was not a devotee. Prabhupada said to her, you be chaste and to your husband and do whatever he wants. In the end, he became a devotee, but it took some time. So if you have that stamina, someone like, being Prabhupada's sister, obviously, you win in the end. If you feel that it will last, stay. If not, you have to leave. But our duty is to make sure, first and foremost duty is to turn everyone into a devotee that you associate with. There are some people who won't. So you just have to disassociate with such people. So that was what I wanted to talk about I feel that I'm not qualified to speak further on people choosing their partners, because this is Kali Yuga and everyone is individual. But the whole point is to choose a partner that will last for a lifetime. And before you make any mistakes, be very careful, think twice, and try to practice your Krishna consciousness and be under the guidance of a spiritual master, follow Srila Prabhupada, associate with like-minded people, and continue to preach and continue to do your duty. That is about all that I can say. Not much. The class from Devamrita Maharaj was very good. I would recommend that you go back on YouTube and listen to that. It does help a lot. And he was very practical. He actually pointed out what we are actually facing in Kali Yuga. He was very, very clear on what's happening around us. Like, young girls, young boys in school, they are having boyfriends and their parents allow them to come home and stay the night. These things are happening. So he was quite open, and he said, you have to be aware this is happening. That's not a marriage, obviously. So it's not Vedic. And what to do in those cases. We just have to continue practicing. Whether somebody else is or not is not our concern, as long as you are, and you are associating with people who are practicing like-minded. So for those people who are not a devotee, the like-minded partner for them would be a non-devotee, and they'd be happy, and their life will continue and last. Because the casualties are children. They have to live without their parents. And I'm a teacher, and I've seen so many of my kids in school without both parents. They don't live with parents. Some of them don't even live with either of their parents. They have to live with their grandparents or guardian or something. And they turn out to be so disturbed. One of them has ended up in jail. After so many years, I went back to Fiji, and he used to be beaten up by his father. He came to school with a broken rib one day. This is like marriage, non-Vedic, barbaric. And I thought, where is he? His name was Chombe. And where's Chombe? He's a Fijian boy. He's in jail. So the kids, they turn out like that. So the casualties are kids. That's my whole point. So choose your partners carefully. Don't let kids suffer. Kids are very important. Okay, so Gopa Ashtami. Today is Gopa Ashtami. This is my favorite topic. I'd like to talk about this one. And if we have time, we can come back and talk some more about the Grihastha situation in Kali Yuga, which is deteriorating, and it will never improve. So those of us, there's a word, it's called utopia. Utopia means a perfect world where everything is perfect. There's no such thing. This is Kali Yuga. Divorces are rampant. Kids are running around without parents or single parent. It's there. This is Kali Yuga. It's not perfect. So our duty is to make sure that we make the right choice. The only way we can make a choice is get the guidance of a spiritual master or a mentor, or actually have a look at those devotees who have a lifetime of good marriage. Take that as an example and stick with them. I love the temple here because the kids are just happy and running around, and they are learning about our scriptures and playing mridanga and singing, and so wonderful. You don't get to see that in all the temples, by the way. So this is really wonderful over here. And recently I heard one of the kids call out Syamapriya, and I was like, He's calling me, 2-year-old. Apparently he devised a plan, which is a game which is called Syamapriya. So anything that goes wrong, he says Syamapriya. And anything that goes right, he probably calls somebody else's name out. But, they're kids. It's good that they call Sham rather than something else. Like I was doing this, this is funny, I was like, where I'm working, there's houses there, and they are celebrating Halloween, and they're like ghosts and goblins and things on their house. And people with bloody faces and blood and bats It's not pretty. And they're ghosts and skeletons, and kids love these things. I'm thinking, what? Is that entertaining? Is that entertainment? And what's going in the minds of all these kids? This is culture in Kali Yuga. People are celebrating weird things, and kids like it. Who would want a kid to look at ghosts and goblins and be happy? I'd rather our kids, like our kids here, they're shoving lamps and singing kirtans and dancing for Krishna and calling Sham. That's better. I was just like blown away. And the 2-year-old girl, she was standing outside somebody's house which was decorated with ghosts. I want that. I want that. What do you want? She wants the ghost. Why? What's the point? That's Kali Yuga. People are weird. So we just have to make sure that we protect ourselves and our kids and lead them to Krishna consciousness, associate with the right kind of people. Okay, so Gopa Ashtami. So Gopa Ashtami, this is the pastime of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani ki jai. Oh, she's amazing. She's the best devotee of Lord Krishna. If you want to know how to be devoted to Krishna, you pray to Srimati Radharani for her mercy. And she'll teach you how to be devoted to Lord Krishna. How to please Krishna, that's Radharani. Nobody knows how to please Krishna better than her. So, the pastime of Srimati Radharani dressing up as a 12-year cowherd boy. And that cowherd boy's name was Subal. And she is seen to be carrying a small calf to go to meet Krishna. Now that's interesting. The reason was that it was very difficult. Well, this is Krishna's pastime. He makes it more interesting by, like bringing up challenges so that when he meets Radharani, there's lots of obstacles, you have to jump over this hurdle, that hurdle, and it makes meeting each other more nectarian. I'd never be able to understand it, but they can understand it. So, it says here, and she was seen to carry a small calf. And she was dressed like a gopa. Why would a Radharani, who's so beautiful, want to dress up like a boy and carry a calf? So it's explained here. It's on the 8th lunar day of the bright fortnight of the month of Kartik. So this is what the day is. This is month of Kartik. And it's known as authorities as Gopa Ashtami. From that day, Lord Vasudev served as a cowherd, whereas previously he had tended the calves. So this is the day that Krishna his responsibilities increased. And instead of looking after the calves, he was now looking after the cows. So he's a big boy. So his parents thought, okay, you can now look after the cows. But and on this day, important pastimes take place. So one pastime, so there are many pastimes. So one of these pastime is on this day, Jatila and Kutila, they're Srimati Radharani's mother-in-law and sister-in-law, and they're very, very cruel to her. And their job is to, be nasty to Radharani in the sense they don't let her meet Krishna. They try to put her in a prison. So what they did was they forbade Srimati Radharani to perform her customary puja at a distant Surya Kunda. Actually, Srimati Radharani worshipped the sun god. We all know that. But some of us don't. She used to worship the sun god every morning at Surya Kund. And Jatila and Kutila, they knew that she was doing that, and that was an excuse for her to meet Krishna. So they forbade her to do even that. And Srimati Radharani was very upset. They thought that she was spending too much time outside the house. I mean, that's really nasty. Even last night, I went to the chemist warehouse to get some medication, and one devotee saw me there and said, "What are you doing out of the house at this time of the night?" "Arey Baba, I work during the day. I have to go to the pharmacy to get some medication. Please." Don't judge a person, that's the whole thing. But Srimati Radharani here, she was like, they were thinking it's not her business to go out there and even do puja. That's really wrong. So being restricted of the confinement of her in-laws, Sri Radha felt dejected and began to cry an ocean of tears. Actually, the ocean of tears, some of those tears are in Radhakund. Did you know that? I didn't know that either. I had a vision, and Srimati Radharani was crying tears because she was missing Shri Krishna, and the tears fell in the Kund. I saw it, and the Kund was like an ocean. It was huge in those days. And that Kund has got tears of Srimati Radharani, Radha Kund. That is why we worship Radha Kund. Anyway, so she was feeling very dejected, and she began to cry an ocean of tears. And what was the use? Her life, it was devoid of her Pranath Krishna. And while Krishna, he was waiting for his Pran Sakhi to come, he was waiting for her to come. Actually, they didn't have like text messages that I'm waiting for you here, can you please come, you know. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to have a mobile phone and say, I'm waiting for you here, can you please come? Unless that person is blocked forever, then that kind of ruins the whole thing. But anyway, Krishna was waiting for her, and he learnt from his Gopa friends that she was confined and was not allowed to come. And so he was waiting there all fired up, and he suddenly felt very sorrowful. He went into some sorrow. So he was feeling intense separation from Radharani, and he said to his dear friend Subal, he said, Subal, oh friend, I place my life in your hands. Bring Radha here one way or another. So do whatever you have to do, bring her here. And there Radharani is in prison, you know, at home. Jatila and Kudila have even stopped her from worshipping sun god in the morning. And Krishna here, being God, he can do anything and everything. He's telling a friend, can you please get Radharani? Krishna can do things like that. He can get Radharani like that if he wants to. But he gave that responsibility to his Gopa friend Subal. And Subal looked at other boys for help, and he received nothing. How to get Srimati Radharani out of her house? And he replied with a deep empathy, friend, how can I bring her here in broad daylight? Wait until nightfall. Then your desire will be fulfilled. And Krishna said, no, I'm not waiting till nightfall. I want Srimati Radharani to come and meet me now in broad daylight. So Krishna wasn't content with this answer. He felt that with every passing moment, a millennium passed by, and surely within a few hours, he would meet his bitter end. So Krishna was in a very distressed condition. Actually, that's what happens if somebody who is beloved is not before you, you will feel that anxiety. Actually, that's how you choose your partner. Coming back to the original topic, the way to choose your partner is if you can't stay without seeing them or being with them, that's the right person for you. Provided they feel the same way about you. And provided, oh, where did it go? Provided, oh my gosh, did I just lose it? I was reading. I did lose it. Okay, so to cut a short story short, yeah, I've got it back, I think. Yeah. And so Krishna was saying to Subal, please go and get her. I can't stay without her. I can't wait till night time. So what Subal understood was this situation is very serious. It's time to do something and take a radical move. It's very serious. So he decided in his bravery to go to Radharani's house and see what he can do. So it was like this, that when he went to Radharani's house, he was able to get inside the house without anybody stopping him. Either Jatila or Kutila. Somehow he was able to get in there. And Subal's family is closely connected with Abhimanyu. Actually, that was the reason. So he was able to enter the house because his family knew Abhimanyu's family. Abhimanyu, who is that? He is Srimati Radharani's so-called husband. Not really a husband, but so-called. He was actually an expansion of Krishna, by the way. So he was still Krishna, but under some kind of illusion he put himself in and became like a make-believe husband. So Abhimanyu was there. He was being fooled all the time. So as fate would have it, he was able to go all the way to Srimati Radharani's quarters without being noticed. So being an intimate friend, Subala, he was able to explain that Sri Krishna was in this situation. The gopis, who are Srimati Radharani's servants, they are in the house. They welcomed him and they listened to the whole story. Krishna is waiting and he is suffering. So seeing that the dear friend Krishna and Sri Radha suffered from the same disease, it was a disease by the way, and would meet the same end, Subala devised a plan. So here it says, according to Sri Radha Krishna Ganodesha Deepika, Subala, the Subal is a 12.5-year-old Gopa. So his age is 12.5, and whose luster, complexion, facial features are very similar to Srimati Radharani. They look the same, but he's a boy, he's a girl. So in order to make his plan work, he and Sri Radha would have to trade clothes. So Subal gave his clothes to Srimati Radharani and Radharani gave her clothes to Subal. And once they had dressed in each other's clothes, that time a little calf, a baby cow, started wandering over there. That baby calf was looking for his mother while Srimati Radharani had now changed into the Gopa's clothes. They found a calf looking for his mother. So on the orders of Subal, Lalita Devi is the most intimate friend of Srimati Radharani, Gopi. Lalita Devi quickly dispatched some girls, go and look for the calf. Hurry up. And the girls went and they were pulling the calf. They were pushing the calf. The poor calf was looking for his mother. So the girls were having a tug of war with the calf. To reassure Radharani and her friends that his scheme was foolproof, Subala boldly spoke the words, "Friends, I will remain in the house and pretend to be Radharani, feeling very sick." So he's pretending to be sick, and Radharani. Meanwhile, Radharani will leave to meet with Krishna dressed as me, carrying the calf to conceal the only visible difference between us. What's the difference? Well, a girl needs to cover her chest because then she will surpass as a boy. Srimati Radharani's body is like a lady. So there's the only difference. The facial features are the same, the skin luster, complexion is the same, except he's a boy. Srimati Radharani is a girl. So in order to hide the chest area, she is going to pretend to hold the calf. And that will fool people. So everybody laughed at that and applauded in his quick thinking. That's a very good idea. So without further delay, Srimati Radhika lifted the calf in her arms and walked out of the chamber. She was able to do that. While Subal, he stayed in the house pretending to be Radharani and pretending to be sick. So she went down the hall and out in the open in the courtyard. She was able to dress up as a Gopa and go in the courtyard. Unaware that Subal had previously entered, Jatila and Kutira, Srimati Radharani's mother-in-law and sister-in-law, were surprised to see Subal leaving. They were surprised that he was here in the first place. It was a surprise visit. They don't often see Subal there. So, before they could say anything, clever Radharani, she said in a perfect imitation of Subal's voice. So she was like Subal again. And she said in Subal's voice, "That rowdy calf has run amok. Straying from the herd, it ran into your house. I will take it back and tie it up with its mother so it doesn't run away, but I must hurry so that the herd of Nanda's son can move on." In other words, Radharani used Krishna's name to say that, this calf is running around and is making Krishna stay in this area. So I'm going to quickly take this calf, give him back to Krishna so he can move away from this area with his calves. And then he'll be no threat to you, Srimati Radharani. Isn't that clever? Actually, Srimati Radharani is full of tricks. If you really look at her, she's full of the best excuses. You won't even know. She's really good. If you read the pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna, she comes up with some very, very wonderful tricks. If we could discuss those, that would be so nice. But for today, she says, she uses Krishna's name. I'm going to take the calf, give him back so Krishna can go away. And at the mention of Krishna's name, Jatila's attention shifted from Subal's surprising presence to the dangers posed by Krishna being near her home and daughter-in-law. So she thought it's dangerous that Krishna is near. So her focus shifted, and she said, raising her hand, blessed quickly, and she said, quickly take the calf to its mother and let the herd continue to its passes. So she's saying, go, go, go. And the further a certain black cow herd is from this house, the more secure is the integrity of my family. Now go. So she sends Radharani away. Go. She doesn't even realize that it's not Subal, it's Radharani. So lowering her head to hide her irrepressible smile, she's smiling now, Sri Radhika answered in Subal's voice again, as you order, mother, as you order, and walked right out. She managed to get away. Subal's plan had worked. Reunited at last, Sri Radha and Madhava enjoyed wonderful pastimes together. So on Gopashtami day in Sri Mayapur Dham, Sri Radha Madhava offered a special brand new outfit. So in Mayapur today they'll be wearing something new. And this is the only day of the year in which the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika and the gopis are seen. So perhaps, but we don't have that mood here. And actually that mood is not my guru's mood either. I have heard in his class, he says no, he prefers not to show Radharani's feet. Because Radharani is a chaste lady and she doesn't show any part of her persona like that. She's always covered, even her feet. So we didn't show her feet here, and that is appropriate. So on these days, on this day, all devotees of the ISKCON Mayapur Goshala, they worship and feed and brush and play with the cows. So this is the day to see the cows. If anyone is free, go to the Goshala and play with the cows, feed the cows. I'll be at work. Unfortunately, it's not a very nice thing. I want to leave my job. I'd rather stay and chant. Some Matajis, even Prabhus, dress up as Gopas. So you will see them dressed up as Gopas. I've never dressed up as a Gopa. I don't know. But yeah, you'll see some Matajis dressed up in turbans. After all this glorious day when Sri Madhav got promoted from herding calves to herding cows. So this is the day that he's a big boy. He can look after cows. So this particular katha we talk about a lot. Some people, they perform a fire sacrifice on this day, it says here. It signifies Madhav reaching the age from 6 to 10. So they do a yagna to celebrate Lord Krishna's coming of age from 6 to 10. He's now old enough to herd the cows, so we could have had a yagna here. Once the yagna is completed, an arti is performed to mother cow. So today we do go puja as well. So it's one of those days that we can do go puja. Once they are nicely cleaned, the devotees feed the cows. So cows are fed chapatis and green grass and fruits and vegetables. And then to conclude the festival, a delicious feast is served to all devotees. So not only the cows, the devotees also get fed. So this is a beautiful pastime of Radha and Krishna. What did I do with my glasses? It's on top of my head. I'm getting old. So that was the pastime for Gopa Ashtami. Radharani and Krishna, they have many nice pastimes. And in many of the cases, Radharani, the way she relates to Krishna is unlike most of us, because she's able to tell Krishna off, she's able to make him angry, and she's able to make him dance to his tune. And one of those pastimes that I just remembered, we have 5 minutes, so I will talk about that. One day, Lord Krishna had offended Radharani, because the reason was that he was running off with somebody else, maybe most likely Chandravali, who is another expansion of Srimati Radharani as our own competitor. Actually, Gurudev had told us, those competitors, Radharanis, they are all expansions of Radharani. They are all different moods. So we shouldn't really think, okay, well, somebody else. In Kali Yuga, obviously, They are no expansions of anyone. So if somebody is running around with 10 people, 10 partners or whatever, they are not expansions. They are individuals, people, and it's not the same. It is a perverted reflection. But in Krishna's case, obviously, he had run off with somebody, Chandravali or something, and Radharani was very mad at him. She was angry, like all women would be. If you see their man with somebody else, they'll kill him. This is natural. So Radharani was, she didn't want to kill Krishna, obviously, but she was very angry with him. So banished Krishna, and Krishna was not allowed to meet her. And she told her gopi friends, keep that Roj, what is Roj? What she uses rude words. Keep him away from me. He's even Krishna has been known as a debauchery, committed debauchery and debauch. All kinds of words he's been called. Srimati Radharani would call him names. Anyway, keep him away from me. So Lord Krishna was very, very upset and sorrowful. First he does those things, and then he can't see Radharani, and then he gets morose. So it's all his own fault for doing that. I'm on Radharani's side. So, and he was devising a plan. How can I, make her happy again? How can I please Radharani because she can come back to me and come and see me again, because he's missing her now. So he went and asked his Gopa friends, and in Radharani's opinion, that was not a good idea. So he went and got advice from his Gopa friends, gopis, and they said, you have to do this, we've got a plan. Serenade Radharani. What's serenade? Serenade means you sing a beautiful song and, get her to change her mood. And what happened is, the gopis or the gopas, they got together and taught Krishna this song. I don't know what song it was or what it said. Apparently it was a romantic song that would please Srimati Radharani. So they taught Krishna this song, and Krishna went outside Radharani's window or wherever she was, and he sang this song. This romantic song. And anybody who sings a romantic song to their girl, obviously the girl will say, oh, he loves me or something, the mood will change. She'll say, oh, okay, well, I forgive you. But that didn't happen with Radharani. In fact, she got worse. She got even more mad. And she slammed the door on Krishna and told him, chased him away. Don't want to hear your song and go away. And I was wondering, why did she do that? Krishna went to the effort of learning a song for her, serenading her, trying to please her, and she didn't even like it. So Krishna got slapped down again. And the whole question was, why did she do that? And the answer was, Srimati Radha said, he's God. Radharani said, he's God. Oh, well, he's really qualified, talented. He can make his own song. Why does he have to come and sing somebody else's song to me? Don't want to hear somebody else's song. So these are the eternal, pastimes. Don't want to hear anybody else's song. When he can do things for himself and from the heart, it has to be his own initiative. Krishna is, he can devise any poetry and any song and he's the player of the flute. He's got his own melody. Why does he have to go and learn somebody else's? So she was not pleased with that. So Krishna plans were thwarted again. I'm not quite sure what he did to make sure that she was happy again. But whatever it was, Radharani is always in anxiety to meet Krishna. And she cries tears, and the proof is there in Radha Kund. That, by the way, doesn't apply to us. We are in material situation, and we cannot imitate those pastimes in our lives. So we can't run around with gopis or gopas and, think that somebody is Krishna and relate to them like Krishna. No, there is only one Krishna, and it's in the spiritual world. We cannot imitate those things. If we try, it will backfire, and we will be actually cast in hell, because then we'll have so many partners. And anybody who does that basically goes to hell. Or try to imitate Krishna or his pastimes, they go to hell. So this is just for us to increase our bhakti, but not really to, imitate in our own lives. Our job is to make sure that we stick to devotees, we serve Krishna, we serve the spiritual master, we follow the rules and regulatory principles, choose a partner which is of your own disposition. If you cannot preach to them, leave them. If they're not listening, if they continue to do bad stuff, haven't changed, so leave them, and you just have to look after your own bhakti. The best way to consult is to consult a senior devotee or your spiritual master for a partner of like disposition. So I will leave you with that, hopefully, and have a nice day, and enjoy the Gopashtami, and try to read some pastimes of Radharani and Krishna today. This is the day for you. Thank you for listening. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Ki Jai.